I use this few minutes of it not raining to give you an update on the Winnebago because it's been a while, but we have been working on it. Just now it's getting to the really finesse things and cramming everything in front of the motor. So first things first, the original radiator is installed. And before, the radiator kind of like leaned back like this. You can kind of see there's an angle on that. So it's actually in the same spot, which is hard to see here. But it's the same mount. We just had to cut it and we had to turn the radiator straight up and down. And now it fits. It was hitting the motor and such before. And then the AC condenser is installed in front of it. Stock AC condenser, stock location. That's right, we fancy. This thing has air conditioning. I bought the Master Cool tool to make the AC hoses. And then it worked out to where I got the fittings, the low and the high side charge fittings, to be in this opening because there's actually a little flap door here that opens, like a hood, I guess you'd call it. That's why this is extended, so you can top all the fluids off. Originally the dipsticks I think came like over this, so you could check all the fluids in the motor. But yeah, that's all done. I got a new receiver dryer. These are like the factory hoses. I'm gonna make a mount for this yet right here, but I wanted to wait till the grill went on. I want to make sure it's not going to interfere. And then the low side hose goes up into the interior to the evaporator core. Yep, there is where that goes. And for some reason my camera decided to turn an auto light on, so that's kind of nice. But that top hose is the one that goes down in the engine bay. And you can see there's the expansion valve on the bottom of that little bronze doohickey. It's kind of neat. I didn't know how easy it was to make air conditioning lines. It's very easy. And all these different fittings are available online. So now I know it's pretty much really simple to put AC into like everything. Now this already had air conditioning. We're just merging the Dodge stuff to the Chevy motor. So I had to make two hoses and everything else is fine. I'll give you a quick rundown on how these AC line or this universal AC stuff works. I just kind of learned about it myself. So here's just a myriad of extra stuff that I have. But this is just the regular AC hose. See, it's a pretty serious braid in the middle. But at least for my uses, we had three sizes. I kind of bought a universal hot rod kit, and I had to add in a few fittings that didn't work, or I needed something special. So here's number 10. Here's number 8. And then this is all number 6, which I didn't use. But you get whatever fitting you need, and this is the universal like O-ring fitting. Here's a good example of it. An O-ring goes on there, and then it goes on to a male thread and crushes. This is the end that you crush onto the hose using this tool. This is the manual version. Each one of these colored things is a die for, as you can see, a particular hose. But you put this in a vise and you just clamp down on this with your wrench, and it squeezes it from all the way around and it makes the hoses like I showed you. But there's all kind of different ones. Here's that metric O-ring to a flare adapter. Everything on that motorhome as it came is flare. So there's no O-rings, but there's like a taper on the end of the fitting that seals it. Where it looks like pretty much the industry standard now for universal AC stuff is all this O-ring fittings. And here's the O-rings that go on them. But this whole kit was like $100, and I used like 3/4 of it. And I had to buy a few fittings here and there, only like $4 or $5. Here's what that tool does to the fittings when it crunches them down. Just smashes them down on the rubber, and it's a pretty good seal. There's one hose. It's a flare at the evaporator core to a number 8 hose. And then I did exactly what the factory line did in the same location. It has an adapter that goes from number 8 to number 10 for whatever reason. And then the fitting that came on the pump, or that aluminum fitting, the outlet on it was a number, or sorry, this is actually the inlet, this the suction hose, is a number 10, which is number 10 hose. That kind of worked out. And I got one of these little fittings here with the low side service port on it. So it's up here like I explained now. So after I made the lines, before I finally hooked everything up, there's an AC flush you can get in an aerosol can. And I blew the condenser out, and I blew the original hoses I was reusing out. because this thing was R12 and I wanted to get all the R12 oil out, which is not compatible with the 134 oil. So they have a flush for that, cleans all the lines out, then get a little shop air through them. Then I hooked the lines up, as you can see, and I put it on the AC machine and I drew a vacuum on it, and it held just about 30 inches of vacuum for, I don't know, over an hour. So shouldn't be a leak. So once this thing's running and I charge it, the AC should work no issue. So this thing's pretty fancy now. While I'm in here, the charge pipe is run. Got one of these fancy flexi pipes there, or flexi couplers. I have to make a support bracket from this pipe to the radiator so it doesn't do this the whole time. But factory fan shroud for the 440, and that is the factory mechanical clutch fan from the 6.0, and it pretty much fits. Don't mind that hose, it's just laying there for now. But yeah, it has it's about, the clutch itself's like an inch from the radiator, and the fan's pretty much right where it has to be in that shroud to fit everything. So now for the completely impossible to see stuff, the auto light came on again. The compressor is behind the frame rail, so this was really fun. But I had to put the high side and low side hoses to it there, and that's the low side you're seeing. You can't even see the high side, it goes underneath. See, can we see it up here at all? There you go. There's the hoses. Now that billet piece right there, the hoses are going into, that actually adapts this LS compressor to a AN O-ring, like universal refrigeration fitting. And then that allows you to use these universal ends that you can crimp on with the AC kit. So it goes from like a flat O-ring seal with a bolt that crushes it to threads. And that's how I was able to run the hoses around. I gotta put like covering on these yet so it doesn't rub through on stuff. And heat, because as we did more and more to this, like everything is crammed into this passenger wheel well area. Like here's one intercooler pipe, here's the other one right here. This is our heater shut off because it had one before, but it wasn't going to work because it was cable operated off the engine. Both the heater hoses are here, the radiator hoses. It's just like a total shit show in this area. It's really tight. Here is the intercooler, because like I said, we were running out of room. We had a brainstorm to lay this flat, and then it has this scoop that John built. Had just some scrap metal. It is all aluminum, it's all tigged. The factory bumper for the Winnebago hangs off these, obviously, but the bottom of the bumper comes like right to here. So once the bumper is on it, all you're going to see is this scoop under it, which will then, you know, scoop the air in and then blow it up. And it's going to blow it up like onto the radiator and the condenser, so it'll actually work pretty good. We made these aluminum straps to hang it at four corners. They already had mounting bosses like tapped into it. But we need one more piece of intercooler piping to come down from that piece I showed you that was disconnected to go into it. And it's in and out, both tubes are on the same side. So hopefully that'll work out pretty good. The only thing we have to do yet up front here is I have to run a transcooler. These are the transcooler lines. We're just not 100% sure what we're going to do. The factory one's pretty big, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to run it through the factory one and another one, like both right here, and loop it back. We're probably not going to use the one in the radiator because there's already so much stuff there on the bottom of the radiator. There's a lot of things happening in that area. The thing is, it has new tires all the way around. These are off right now. We still got to bleed the front brakes. Everything's on there. They just have to be bled. But this thing has 17.5-inch rims. So these are some China specials. There's not a lot of pickings in this size. It's an 8/17.5 tire. But we have all 6 for the wheels and then a spare on the back, because the older ones were kind of dry rotted. What'd we do with them? Put them on the tow truck, because why not? But there is a little bit of an update for you. No, I haven't posted anything in a while, but was working on it. But if you don't live in this part of the country, which is Pennsylvania, we're in Pennsylvania, it's pretty much been raining the entire summer. I think as of last weekend, it didn't rain for 4 weekends. Every other weekend it's been pouring. So Kind of hard to work on this thing outside, or it alternates between pouring and being 105 degrees, which has been like the last week. So that's why I haven't been working on it too much, but we have been working on it here and there between showers, between heat stroke. But it's coming along. There's not much left on it as far as getting it running. So I'll have another update for you soon.